And, oh, I didn't. I did. I'm sorry. Let me
Turn your phone off.
Oh, yeah. There's some things behind you. You can't rock back too far. Is that okay?
That's fine, man.
I'm gonna keep this.
On that, buddy.
I'm a rocker.
Hey, I'm gonna keep this back. On.
Get it stepped up running around.
I'm gonna keep that back.
No,
What is it?
I just want to sign.
Oh, you found? Well, I just said,
Oh, yeah.
turn the volume off.
Oh,
And it had you roasted by the time you're over.
yeah, I'm on it now. Yeah, yeah.
I love when you jolly.
I'm
I
bored.
just cut that
Yeah, I'm
behind
bored.
you.
I got my glasses fogging up.
Mr. Jeff's on there already. Hey, Mr. Jeff.
Let me see here. Let me click on that. How you doing, Mr. Jeff? Can you hear us okay?
You want that right there? You
Here, whatever.
back and speak or whatever? What you want?
Stacy's on. There's Balake, and we have Derek in the house. Well, we're live, yeah.
Hey, brother.
See y'all later. Was that your bike?
No,
Who
that
is
was,
it?
that was Jackson's boat motor private.
Oh, hey Blake, close that door, buddy.
Hey, tell him don't, can't do that. Fire the motor up anymore.
You gonna roast that fire on? You want it off?
I don't care. That's what he says. Man, you're gonna get hot. I said, I got the control.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not ready to flip. Mr. Jeff said I had to walk a mile for service.
Who said that?
Mr. Jeff.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Yeah, we're gonna show a few things, and it may get, hopefully it's not too loud, but we're gonna try to show a few hunts.
Yeah.
For the folks that are watching on the regular phones, it may not be as big, but some of the folks that are watching on TV, they'll be able to see it pretty good. So look, it's 7 o'clock. I'm ready to get started. How about y'all?
Let's roll with it.
I'm a little bit nervous because you're here, to be honest with you.
Oh, gosh.
Hello, everybody. I'm Keith Haywood. This is Rodney McBride. We've got Chase Gregg in the house, and we have a legend with us right here.
Mr. I'm old.
We have Mr. Joe Schultz in the house with us, and we're Wildlife Addiction. We are a live Facebook and YouTube show where, and look, we're just a program. We're for hunters by hunters, Mr. Joe. Our goal here is we just support the outdoors. We push and we do everything we can for our youth to get them in the outdoors. And if we can influence one parent to get one kid outside, we feel like we've done our job. We love the outdoors just like y'all do. And we've had a chance. We've spent some time with y'all the last couple of weeks. And we'll get into that. But we have learned real quickly that we are so much alike in so many ways. It's just opportunities that have been taken advantage of, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. But without our sponsors, that's one of the things that we try to start the show off with, because without our sponsors, we really, running the show is fairly inexpensive, but taking care of some of the projects we like to take care of outside the show, that's where the sponsors come in. And that's what the money, everything that comes in, guys, goes right back out to the community, goes right back out to things like St. Jude for the hunt we went on last week, goes right back out to a family that may need something. So that's what we're here for. We're here using the outdoors, and we're using to find people like y'all that help support us to help contribute to our goals. So, Mac, do you want me to start, buddy, or you want to start out?
You start.
All right. We have Sanders Auto Sales of Greenbrier. Buy there, pay there with no credit check. Call Mark Tate at 615-643-3740. We have Pioneer Outdoor Sports. You can call Robert Myers at 731-659-2400. And he is located at 608 Tennessee Street in Bolivar, Tennessee. We have Spur Brand. They're more than just a brand. Go to support@spurbrand.com or call 251-747-7242. And you can check out their hunting and outdoor premium quality apparel and accessories. Buddy Sean and the staff will take excellent care of you. And Spur Brand, thank you guys very much for what y'all do for us and what y'all mean to us. Y'all have stepped in and believed in some guys that's doing what we're doing, and we truly appreciate that.
Thank you.
We have Sheridan Valley Outfitters, trophy whitetail and guided turkey hunts. The all-inclusive whitetail hunts take place in Wayne County, Iowa, in the extremely desirable Zone 5. You have some friends in that area.
I do.
Just
Don and Candy.
Don and Candy Kiske right down the road there. That's right. Don't go there expecting to be treated like a customer. Mr. Marvin and his staff are they're going to treat you like family. I know, I've been there. Not only can you expect great hunting, but you can count on clean amenities, home cooked meals, and an atmosphere accommodating to all ages. Be sure to check them out online at www.sheridanvalleyoutfitters.com or call Mr. Scott Morrell directly at 814-574-2410. Be sure to tell them that Wildlife Addiction sent you. There you go, Mac.
All right, we have Buckbuster Seed Company, 318-336-9890, or Google Buckbuster Seed and find a dealer near you. Chrissy will take great care of you. Also, we have Wildlife Seed Solution. You can call Mason Chandler at 731-592-4361. Mason is a real world seed dealer. We have Wildlife Addiction Food Plot Services. You can call Keith Haywood at 731-780-6426 or call me, Rodney McBride, at 901-603-6601.
You got him. Sean Luter from Spur Brand himself. He said, Keith, tell everybody that he said good luck tomorrow from himself and the Spur Brand family. And
Good luck.
and thank you. Mr. Bill Ramsey's on here saying hi. Parrish Elliott's on here saying, what's up, fellas? Hey, Mr. Parrish, how you doing? We have another sponsor that come on earlier
During the week
last week. Mr. Wayne and Miss Carmel Lawhorn out of Savannah, Tennessee. Just out of the goodness of their hearts, they wanted to sponsor this program. Keep in mind, Mr. Wayne owns a business, but Mr. Wayne's getting ready to retire. And he said that he and his wife wanted to help support what we do simply because they like what we do. And that means a lot to us. That humbles us.
Right.
We got to meet them, Mac, at the Hunt the Cure.
Sure.
And
Amazing people.
they're absolutely amazing people. I know Chase got to meet them. So, and you had a kid also. We were all up there last weekend together doing the St. Jude hunt for Hunting the Cure. And we got it. We got with the day one, we got there, we got to meet all the people that were associated with it. You know, we got to talk, and there's so many names here and it's hard to remember everybody, but we had Chris Jones, we have Jason Elam, what's the guy's name there that's with National Turkey Federation?
Mark Darnell.
Mark Darnell was there, of course, yourself. And I think one of their local chapter guys was there. Please forgive me if you're watching the names, guys. I'm sorry for that. Hey,
Gary Spears.
Gary Spears. That's who it just slipped my mind. And Stephen Price said, "Dang, Joe, you're looking good tonight, buddy." Stephen's a good guy, isn't he?
He is.
I had a chance to meet him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, him and Patina's good people.
They are really good people, and they were up in Middle Tennessee not too long ago doing a Whitetail Unlimited banquet up there.
Yeah, he has one there in Wilson County at the fairground.
Yes, sir. They're amazing folks. Push the whitetail hunting really hard, and we appreciate that from them. But we got the privilege of carrying a young man. His name was Davis Lane, and I'm gonna show y'all some pictures in a second. And because we're wanting to get the table, we want to showcase these kids.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we want to showcase these kids. And I've got the TV on. I know it's hard for some of y'all to see, but Chase, we're going to show your guy real quick. Let me get this picture pulled up. And we want to showcase some of these kids that got to go up there. So Chase got to carry, he had the privilege of carrying this young man right here. I hope y'all can see that okay. What was his name, Chase?
That's Dylan Bergen. He's 8 years old from New York.
New York.
Yep. And man, yeah, we had that bird down probably about 6:45 in the morning. We was the first ones.
Yeah.
Got it on film. So, man, it was a great hunt. Had lots of birds gobbling.
He was a young fella too.
Yeah, 8 years old.
8 years old.
8 years old, and yeah, he let that little 20 gauge eat. So
I heard the New York boys knew they could call a bit, couldn't they?
yeah. Todd was my guide's name, and
Right.
he did a real good job. So.
Right. Well,
Have you ever killed a bird before?
Yes, yeah, he has. He's killed 2 prior to that, but that was the first one that has ever been on film.
Oh, great.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I knew y'all were in them pretty hard down there too.
Yeah,
You were pretty excited.
We was in them thick. So.
Yeah. And the honor of getting to go up there and be a part of that for us was huge. And so our little fella, Davis Lane, so there's a picture of Mac. Well, let me get, if y'all don't mind, I want to show y'all. So let me go back to this. On when we went and met him, there's Mr. Wayne in the back.
It's been about 3.5 hours teaching this young man how to shoot a gun and things like that. Chase Gregg down in the end there, he said, hey, you guys have a red dot.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Wayne said, I sure do. I think Mr. Wayne had a little bit of one of everything.
Yeah,
I mean, he had a chill of everything.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, Davis had never hunted before.
Never.
Not the first time. And
Nothing.
he shot a 22 a few times, so he'd never been behind a shotgun.
Right.
And to never be behind a shotgun, that's a little bit intimidating in its own right there, especially when you're shooting a turkey load, you know. But he was doing a good job. We just wanted to fine tune that. Right. And Chase brought up, he said, hey, do you have anything with a red dot on it? He said, Mr. Wayne said, I sure do. And he went in and he come out with a 410 shooting at TSS. Yeah, let me show y'all something. So this was his shot with a 410, and it was what, 30 yards, Chase?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so there, of course, there's Rodney and Mr. Wayne in the back. This is Davis right here, myself, and then Chase. And so now let me try to get to this. I'm gonna try to get to this hunt before we show a picture. Well, here's Davis right here, back when we carried the bird back. And I hope everybody can see this okay. If you're watching on a regular TV, a smart TV, I know you can.
It's good to go.
Here's Rodney and Mr. Wayne sitting in a redneck blind.
Day 2.
That was on day 2. They were up there warm and
That's when they
toasty.
was drinking them hot Mountain Dew.
Them hot, yeah.
It was about 95 degrees in there. Mr. Wayne had his buddy heater blaring. And he was
And of course, I was on day 1. I was filming. So, Mr. Joe, I don't like to have arms on my chair.
Right.
When I'm filming, I like to be on something where I can move easy, or if it swivels. And so I was on a 5-gallon bucket the first day. The next day, we go and Miss Carmel, there was a cushion stuffed down in my 5-gallon bucket. She insisted I carried a cushion with me to sit on. But we had a great time. Let me get to the hunt here. Let me run it. Let me track it down, and we're gonna watch the footage real quick. So y'all bear with me.
Yeah.
No, almost. We're almost there. We got a lot of Mr.
Pictures you take last week.
Well, I was in them. I was in a bunch of pictures.
There it is.
All right, let me turn this volume up. Let me get off my silent here.
The bird was committed to the decoys right here, right? But I was trying to make him fan out, gobble, something, to get us away from him, that bird seeing us. Because at one point in time here, the bird got in front of the gun.
So keep in mind, this is his first time. First time ever. And I hope nobody's judging my filming skills right now. I'm doing the best I can.
Look at it. That's what I tried to get him to do way before that.
Mm-hmm. Woo-hoo. at this. Awesome job. Y'all go out there and eat. I got you here. Carry that gun with you. Carry it with you, Bubba. I'm gonna film y'all. Come and get it done.
Give him a hug.
Give him a hug. He wanted a hug.
Brother. It's a happy boy. Yeah.
And that was one happy fellow right there. So I'm gonna pause that. I'm gonna go to the next one. We're gonna show just a couple clips real quick. This was right after the shop when they went out to recover. Okay, right there. Okay. So his dad, which is Mr. Kevin and Mr. Wayne, were sitting in a redneck blind about 100 yards to our left, and they were watching through binoculars. That's what it's about right there, guys. That's what it's about.
Now we're good.
Y'all come down here. Mr. Joe, I promise it's not going to be a shaky in a minute. Don't.
Yeah, he's judging right now.
He's judging.
He's judging.
I'm fixing to get him. I'm gonna catch the moment here. Nah.
We had two-way radios.
Yeah.
He said, "There's a bird," and I already seen the bird come through the wood. I reached down and turned the two-way radio off. Yeah.
We've got one more we want to watch real quick before we move on. Okay. Actually, we have a couple. Good Lord, blessed us to be here today.
Oh, son. Let's see. How many turkeys do you think we heard this morning? There was a pile of them. We had some hens come in early morning, things like that, which we kind of got shook up a little bit, and we bumped them. They saw us, you know.
Yeah, we got busted.
Yeah. I thought my whole partner was down and out about it, but I said, "Hey, look, they were hens. We didn't want them." That's right. So they were only hens. We had time. But they got them from 6:15 this morning.
Yeah.
They're still gobbling.
They were still gobbling when this bird was coming in. Well, what we're going to do, we're here. This is all about getting the youth outside, number one. Regardless of what everything else is going on here, this is about getting the show man outside. We're here in Harlem.
Yep, there you go. Keep talking, keep.
Oh, I'm so shook up, guys. This is the hardest part of it right here. Davis Lane, I'm so sorry, and his dad, Mr. Kevin, and we are here on the, it's the juvenile hunt weekend, and this is the St. Jude hunt, and we're going to tell a little bit about the story.
This boy right here is the one we always want for first St. Jude hunt. Oh, good job. Good job.
And what we're going to do, look, they've been so kind to sit here and let us film them for a minute, but this is a moment that we wanted to share on camera for just a second, but we're fixing to turn the camera off and we're going to celebrate the way we know it.
Thank y'all.
Y'all
come in, spur bread.
Well, spur bread's the wildlife addiction.
Wildlife addiction.
Yeah.
They come out yesterday. Y'all may not know this. It's been 2 or 3 hours with this kid that has never killed anything, making sure he could shoot good, making sure he could put the feed on the bird. And I tell you what, money don't buy this. Money can't pay for these 2 guys.
Thank you, sir.
What they done yesterday. Appreciate it.
We're it's our pleasure.
I think a great time.
So I'm gonna cut this camera off, and we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna look at pictures. Dude, man. One more short one. We're doing our best here to showcase this young man. So I'm gonna cut this camera off, and we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna look at pictures.
Dude, man. I'm gonna go get the Ranger so when I have it here, there you go.
Wildlife prediction, bird brain. Look at here. Come here, boy. This is what it's about right here. This young man, just make sure we're in this camera. You have a good time. Oh, yeah.
Hey, hold your bird. Hey, get your bird. Get your bird. Show him view. Grab him by his feet.
Yeah, man, they both hang. Awesome.
Look at that, son. I can live.
Congratulations, man.
I shot that bird 500 times this week. I promise I shot him 500 times myself. That's what you will be able to eat him. He's everywhere, man.
Oh yeah. So
He's everywhere.
if that doesn't excite you, and
The bird was 19, or it had 9.5-inch spurs, 19 pounds. No, you're right.
did he say 9.5-inch spurs?
Yeah, hey, that was a lot. That was
Lord,
a hanger.
Lord, we can't tell him we hunt, but
See,
man,
hey, it's getting past his bedtime. I'll see you awake. But 9.5-inch beard, 19 pounds, 4 ounces, 1 inch fur on one side and 1.8 inches on the other side.
and
Man,
if you ever get a chance to take some of these kids hunting, I know Mr. Joe and Chase and Rodney, I know y'all can vouch for this. It is a special kind of, it's a special kind of fun. It's something that touches your heart, and to witness these young men, especially these, and we were able to talk about it. The St. Jude hunt there was some kids there that were in remission, and Davis had a brain tumor and he had surgery and he's in remission and doing fine. And but hunts like that and organizations that help pull money to support the research from St. Jude.
That's right.
The hunt community is a huge supplier of funds and revenue for programs like St. Jude. And so look at it that way. Look at the good. We try to look at all the good in the hunting side, everywhere from the conservation side all the way to carrying a kid hunting.
Yeah, actually, before COVID hit, it was called Hunting for the Cure.
Yes, sir.
And at that time, our state chapter president for the NWTF in Tennessee was Keith Hickman, and Keith was really involved with it. And he talked to me and Mark Darnell and Dr. Tim Agee, some veterinarian up here in Milan, and he got us down here, and we only came 1 year, and then that was it. And we scheduled that hunt every year, and to see some of those kids there, since we've been doing it, has grown and have kids of their own, and they still come. Yeah. And those kids never forget, and they can tell you word for word exactly how that hunt went 13 years ago. And COVID came and put a hiatus on it, but before COVID hit, and all the years we went down there, we'd raised like 1.3 million for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Now we got some other folks that's running it, revamped it. Now it's called Hunting the Cure.
Yes, sir.
We were up to like 60 hunters at one time. And this year, the first year, they've lost some of the landowners or whatever. But 25 the first year. By year 3, they'll have it back up to 60.
Absolutely.
No doubt, it's a great event and a great hunt.
Yeah. So if you're a landowner in the Savannah area and you hear about this, just please consider giving one of these kids a chance to come hunt your property just for a weekend, just on the juvenile hunt. I'm telling you, it will touch you in ways that I can't sit up here and explain. And I know, Joe, you can vouch for that one for sure.
Yeah.
But we got the chance to stay at a place that was pretty nice, to say the least. It's called White Oak Falls. It's 2,400 acres, roughly 2,400 acres. It's a big game. They do deer hunts, quail hunts, turkey hunts. They do many things up there. They do a venue for weddings. Mm-hmm. They can pretty much do, Mr. Mike Maddox and the crew can pretty much do anything you want to do at that place. Mm-hmm. And if you want to see a bunch of pictures of White Oak Falls, go to my page, because he put some good ones on Facebook, and you need to check them out. They are
top notch.
They are top notch, and even you said you've been to a lot of places in this country.
All across the United States. it is by far the best place that I've ever stayed in. And we take pride in being the first people that he hosted that we got to stay there.
Yes, sir.
And Mike and Al and Sean were nothing but great. Waited on us hand and foot, anything
Yes.
we needed. And you'll be seeing a lot of video and a lot of pictures of that lodge
Yes, sir.
and what all they can do. Great people, great hospitality, great cooks, you name it. We didn't have to want for anything. Mr. Mike, we thank you for that if you're watching.
Yes.
And Al and Sean, we thank you for all your hard work that you put in for us there.
Yeah, and y'all saw a lot of birds while you
Oh,
were there.
we were in the birds.
Yeah.
Our little gal was 9 years old. Miss Caroline was her name. Her papa went with her, Rodney Biddle,
Mhm.
and she was in birds every day. And the last morning, we just knew we had her on one. We was within 50 yards of one roosted, gobbling its head off. Never heard a tree yelp. Never knew there was a hen around. He pitched down. Mark made a call. He sees the decoys coming to us, and here come 1, 2, 3 hens down. Pitched down, seen the decoys, took him to the other end of the field. But that's the way it goes. But she'd never hunted before, never heard a turkey gobble. She got to do that. She got to see them strut.
Yeah.
Her and I tried to sneak through a cornfield and get on them, and she really enjoyed that. And her papa said she
was a trooper. wasn't
oh
she?
yeah, man. And it was cool Saturday morning.
It
on
was
them kids.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a heater in our blind.
Yeah, we did too.
Keep that cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was cold. Look, and not only does this place amazing, if you're a bow hunter, they have an indoor archer range.
The utmost update coolest that you can
Yes.
even shoot broadhead.
Oh.
The first one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I used to shoot 3D stuff outside, Mr. Joe.
Mhm.
And then I shot the dart system. Remember the dart system?
Yeah.
We would go in. It was like sitting at the movie theater shooting at a screen, and you use those blunt tips. They were about what size of a dime, maybe a little smaller.
Mhm.
No, this one is a, he turns the computer on, turns the lights out. It's like, I don't know, it looked to be 60 or 70 targets to me, stacked.
Self-healing targets that you can shoot broadheads in.
Yeah.
You can hunt antelope, you can hunt African game, you can do whatever, man. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
So just like you're sitting there in a stand and you pick your shot and you make the shot and it scores you on where you hit the animal.
Yeah.
And did the outside 3D walkthrough range, was it a 12 target range?
I think it's 12 or 13.
It was 12 or 13 targets. Let me tell you, y'all need to give Mr. Mike Davis a call. Or you can go
Mike
Matt, what'd I say?
Mike Davis.
I'm so
You're
sorry.
thinking about Davis Line.
I am. Mr. Mike Maddox. You need to give him a call. He is a heck of a guy. You can reach him at 731-300-1219. You can look him up. You can look up White Oak Falls Outdoors on Facebook. I know they have a website. I wrote it down. It was, let me think about this for a second. WhiteOakFalls.com, I believe. www.whiteoakfalls.com. And please check them out. If you're into hunting and if you want a heck of an experience, that's the place to go.
That's right.
And I'm gonna be honest. Because Chase and I are on a pro staff together, so that's how I know Chase. And we really only physically met for the first time. We messaged back and forth and talked some. We were on a Zoom meeting together, but we met physically. Stormy finally made it. For those of y'all that worried about her, she's going to lay down here in a second. So we saw each other at the Turkey Federation show, and we got to talking. And I got the chance to meet Mr. Joe Schultz, somebody that I have been watching since I was a young man. And I'm not a young man anymore. I'm telling you, I've been watching him for a long time. And I got to admit, when we got to the lodge, I walked around there, man, I was just like, this is the best day of my life. I'm sitting here with Joe Schultz. But I quickly learned after getting to know you that you've been in this industry for a long time, Mr. Joe.
Yep.
And you are as good for this industry as anybody could be, in my mind, for sure, and what you represent. And we are thankful for that. And we appreciate that very much.
I appreciate it.
But I watched you do a lot of stuff, back on the Jury Boys, on the Jury Outdoor stuff. And we're going to get into that to a minute. I mean, we're going to get into all that stuff in a minute. We're going to get over here to our boy Chase for a second.
Lord.
Chase Gregg, East Tennessee stud right there. Well, I won't tell him what town.
Yeah, don't tell him.
I won't tell him what town. He's a chick.
He won't show me his pictures though, Keith.
No, we've been on it all day.
I see him.
You've been on it all day about that.
But let me tell you,
Until you show me, I'm gonna be on you, son.
That's all right.
Dang.
so
Look.
we've had a really good time. Look, we had a great time last weekend. Last weekend was pretty busy.
Yeah.
You know, we were all three. Well, Rodney and I were together. You and Mr. Mark were together,
And I was with somebody
and you were with somebody else. So we would hunt pretty much all day. We'd see each other for just a couple hours at night. Then we would give out. It was time to go to bed and get up and do it again. And we were running and gunning but we had a great time and we got to know you. But y'all coming down this weekend to hunt with us, we had set this up
Months ago.
months ago.
months ago.
Actually, before we found out we was going to.
That's right. And we've had the chance to really get together, and we've spent time together since yesterday. We all hung out all day today. And the more we hang out, the more we realize that we have a lot in common, a lot of common interest, and two great guys right here. Keep an eye on these guys, especially this guy right here. He's a one to be reckoned with. You're a force to be reckoned with, oh boy. He said he's gonna come down here during bow season. He's gonna bring a bow during rifle season.
I'm bringing Joe Schultz.
You know, he said he's gonna come down here and kill a 150 with his bow down here, and we're gonna see. But like I said, you and I are on pro staff together. We're on the Deception pro staff together, and Mr. Parrish is watching. He's part of that, and I know you are too, aren't you?
Well,
You're
they're one of our sponsors.
They're one of your sponsors.
TV, yeah. And me and Parrish have been we've been friends for a long time. And back when Parrish was with Mossy Oak, we've been publishing some books and some magazines together or whatever. And he brought a book one time and showed it to me here a while back, and brought back a lot of good memories or whatever. So Parrish and I have been in this game a while.
And we're looking forward to seeing Parrish.
Y'all getting ready to go to him next.
Yeah, we're leaving here and going straight to Parrish.
But now Parrish and I have had a chance to because I was doing the Tennessee Outside Show with them, and I've had a chance to be around Parrish some, and he's a great guy.
You can't beat him.
He's anytime I've needed anything and called Mr. Parrish, he was real quick to say I've got it taken care of, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do every time. And not only did he did it, but he did it with he made a couple calls for us for the Fuller Strong event, and they ended up being absolutely gorgeous.
He don't waste no time. If he gets on something, man, he's Johnny on the spot.
Yeah.
He'll get it taken care of.
But he's a busy guy too. And he took the time to make sure that he got these calls ready for this event. And Parrish, thank you very much for that. And the Fuller family they're absolutely in love with those calls that you made. And one was auctioned off, and I'm not going to say what it went for, but it was a very impressive price for a fundraising event. And I'm sure Mr. Jeff Fuller's watching, and he's another one of our amazing friends. And what he does is the Fuller Strong Outdoors. He cares a lot of the kids that are disabled, or he has a really good program. So for Mr. Jeff, as good as he is to us, and he's become family to us, make sure to look up Fuller Strong Outdoors and check them out. Great organization. He goes above and beyond to make sure some of these kids that would have never had a chance to go out and outdoors, he makes sure it happens for them. So back to you.
Yeah, back to me.
Biggest influence growing up.
Biggest influence in the hunting.
In the hunting
side.
Yeah.
Man, I'll just tell you, I started out deer hunting with some of my buddies, Jeremy Allen and them, and got out of it, and I started bear hunting with hounds for a long time. I got out of it, but my biggest influence in hunting now would be Joe, because I'm around him so much, and just the knowledge that he, I'll go in the shop or I'll call him Joe, and I know I probably get on his nerves sometimes, but man, I want to know. I've asked him stuff, and he understands that. Like, I want to learn this, learn certain things and what to do and why do I need to be here on this certain, he's so good, and I can show you pictures. Like one morning he told me, he said, be in there no later than 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock trail cameras turn on, So, he knows, and I probably Joe's definitely the biggest influence in the hunting side, just because, man, I can call him and ask him a question about anything hunting related, and he's Johnny on the spot with answers. So.
And y'all grew up in the same area.
Yep. Yep.
And so you've known Mr. Joe. God,
I've known Joe. Joe's known me when I was probably, I don't know, maybe 10.
Really?
I mean, honestly.
You took the honors.
He actually took his.
I took my hunter safety at a shop. So, I mean, I've known Joe for a long time. Thankful for the friendship that Joe's really extended to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, here we are. Honestly, you can ask him, man, and it's not bragging, but a lot of people want to hunt with Joe and do this and do that. So it's kind of an honor to be able to sit here tonight and then knowing like tomorrow morning that I get to hunt with hunt with my legend friend over there.
Well, and we learned earlier today, just sitting around talking, that even saying stuff like that about him, he
don't like it.
He does not like
He
it.
don't like it,
but even, and you were talking about, you know, signing autographs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
man, it makes me, I mean, I do it, but it just makes me feel really weird. My good friend, Harry Blodgett, he used to Blodgett Game Calls, and him and Weston Clark went into business, and that's how Dual Game Calls was formed. And now the outdoor group actually owns those. And Harry's boy come up to the NWTF convention actually in Columbus, Ohio. First person that ever asked me to sign anything, and he was young. I mean, he might have been 10 or 12-year-old or whatever. And it was just the weirdest thing, you know. I just couldn't get over it because I'm just me, you know. I don't.
yeah.
But and anyway, unfortunately, Harry and I we share something that's Harry lost his son in a car accident when he was about 20, and I lost Evan at 22. And
Yes.
and me and Harry's been friends for a long time, but I'll never forget that. His son was the first person that ever asked me to sign anything. But it just sort of a little embarrassing to me. Some of them guys, you know, Waddell, Nick, and Mark and Terry, man, it's just second nature to them, and it still makes me feel funny.
Yeah, but and I told you earlier, and I'm gonna bring up another name. You know, I just drew the biggest blank because David Blanton is one of my favorite guys in the world, and David Blanton. But I told you earlier that every time I go anywhere that David is, I try to make sure I walk up to him and say, "Look, David, I just wanted to shake your hand, and I want you to know that you are good for this business,
Right.
and your demeanor and the way you go about your business and in the hunting world is the same."
And I feel honored to say that he's my friend, and I feel really privileged that I've got to share some hunting camps with David or whatever. And he is one of the best all-around ambassadors for our industry.
No doubt. No
For
doubt
sure.
about it.
I'm proud to be able to call him my friend.
Yeah.
He's an extremely good guy. What you see is what you get with him. He's no act. He's no whatever. He's the real deal.
David Blanton is David Blanton. Let me tell y'all something. Mr. Joe Schultz is Mr. Joe Schultz. What you see right now is what he is, and we have really got to know that, and we have become friends, and the personalities are there, and we just really
clicked.
Clicked, and we even have Matt. We even have Matt to hang out with. You've been having a good time with him.
Yeah.
To say the least. Hey, tell Timothy
Be
why.
nice now. You don't know me that well now.
AKA John McBride.
John McBride. So
I love you, Pam.
So, Miss Pam, if you're watching by chance, and I'd love to meet you too, Miss Pam. I've heard nothing but great things about you. Don't look at me. And I'm picking Miss Pam, I promise. Your phone's fixing to ring.
Yeah,
She's not gonna let you come back. But so when she heard the last name McBride, he told her that it was Martina McBride's husband. Had her going. She starts Googling, and she's like, "Yeah, he's got a gray beard and everything." You know, I wish I could have been.
Started sending me pictures after she Googled everything. So she's a big gardener. I said, "Yeah." I said, and then of course Mike being Mike, he just jumps right in. He says, "Yeah." He said, "She's working me today. She needs to get back on the road."
So anybody that knows Mike knows he's pretty quick-witted too.
Yeah.
But Miss Pam,
Here I am.
Miss Pam, it is Chase's fault. It is all Chase's fault.
Well, I might get around.
Because I'm getting him out of trouble.
There you go. There you go. I
You're not gonna
appreciate
get him
that.
out. I promise you.
And for those of y'all that may be watching that I followed you for years. So let's let some people know who Joe Schultz is and where he's been, where he is. So you are a native of East Tennessee yourself,
Right.
Born and raised there.
Yep. My whole life.
Right now you are the co-owner of the Rival TV hunting show, correct?
Correct.
And
Blair Goins, yeah.
man, wouldn't that be the coolest job ever? Wouldn't that be the coolest? I mean, yeah. I know you travel a lot. We've talked about that too. You're on the road a lot.
He's killed me.
Yeah, yeah. He's been
He
dragging.
snuck the whole way, he said, all the way down there.
How many?
No,
How many? So did y'all film any this morning when y'all or this afternoon? Did
Yeah.
they?
Oh, yeah.
we filmed
How
something.
many takes did you make?
No,
Y'all got it right on the first take.
yeah, he done all the work.
I'm pretty good at that too.
Wait a minute.
I'm
Wait a minute.
They lean back.
No. We've had the best time hanging out together today.
Oh, yeah.
We've had the best time. We went and, man, we had a good cheeseburger. That was
Mr.
good
Joe only ate half of his though.
God, things that thick.
stuff.
That big round.
Dude, round is his head, man.
I was warned though, in Rodney's defense, he warned me. He said, them burgers are so big you about to have to tilt your head sideways and the burger to get it in your mouth. He wasn't lying.
And then you know what Max says when we get through
He
eating?
should have got the double.
But yeah,
So he said we need to go for a
we
snack.
need to go get a
He
snack.
said we need to go get a snack.
He's had this one rolling all week.
Oh, Lord.
But Mr. Joe, on a serious note,
Yeah.
we love to come on here and have fun. That's what we want to do. But you you are on the national board of the NWTF, correct?
Yes, sir. I've been on the Tennessee State Board for about 24 years. I was the state chapter vice president for 9 years under two presidents, Mark Wormuth and Keith Hickman. And then I was elected president of the state board. Done my 2 terms there, which is for 6 years. And Mark, you bet Mark, he's my right hand man.
I love Mark, man.
He was my vice president. Now Mark's the current sitting president. And then Mark, he's my election guy. He's the one that helped get me on the national board. And Mark, myself, and my friend, who's a state chapter treasurer and has been since I've been on the board, and been there 24 years, is a Tim Agee, the vet up here in Milan.
Yes, sir.
All three of us has killed a world slam together, actually. And yeah, they're my 2 brothers by another mother. And we've been donating between Doc and Mark and myself. We've probably donated 78 years to the NWTF. I'm probably between, Yep. Great organization. We have Jake's Days for the kids. We got 10 Jake's, we call them Jake's Take Aim trailers. Anybody that wants to have one, we talk with Mike Maddox down at where we were at White Oak Falls about maybe hosting a Jake's Day, and we can get him the trailer there. They have archery targets, BB gun ranges, all kinds of things for the kids to do or whatever. It's one of our outreach programs. And we're like you, Mark and myself and Doc, we've been going down doing the hunt for the cure for years. We also do a hunt in Milan, Tennessee at the Milan Arsenal with wounded veterans and soldiers. And we've been doing that since its inception. And it's a good healing progress for the veterans and all that. And then I go up I have done one up in La Follette, Tennessee, up around the La Follette, Jacksboro area. One of the best chapters in our state, Pine Mountain Longbeards. They put on a great Jake's Day up there, and they do a Wounded Warriors hunt as well. They have one of the best Jake's programs, and the largest Jake program in the nation is right here in Crossville, Tennessee. They have over 400 kids at their Jake's Day.
Wow, that's
So we do a lot for the kids, and we know that's the future of the sport. And that's the reason we work so hard, just like you guys, trying to help the kids, because it's the future of the sport.
right.
And then we try to do all we can for the conservation efforts, because not only those kids, which our kids and grandkids and hopefully great grandkids down the line get to enjoy what we love to do today together. So we're like you guys. We got the same mission, and as far as that goes, to try to keep the kids in the outdoors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you brought up the word Grand Slam a while ago.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of that. What have you accomplished? What have you done? You've been chasing turkey for a long time, haven't you?
Since 1980.
Since 1980.
Long
I
time.
was about big. Yeah, now we're really not that far apart in age. We're not that far.
Easy.
We're not that far apart in age.
Hey, I'm just blessed to be able to do it. And you know, a lot of guys that I went to school with, same age as me, are having some health issues, you know, and things the way they are today. So I'm still blessed that I'm able to get around and do what I do.
Right.
But yeah, I've been pretty fortunate. If we kill one tomorrow, it's going to make several grand slams. I have a Royal Slam. I have a World Slam. I like the Mexican Rio, having the Mexican Slam. But
Wow.
just hold on. Hopefully tomorrow you'll get to hear what number the next Grand Slam is, and you're going to be able to see it if you watch the show on the Rival TV as well. So we just don't want to give everything away right yet. Put a little drama in it, keep people coming back. And watching.
Joe, are you calling or is Chase?
Joe is.
He's calling, he's filming.
I'm just a wingman.
You should call for him. He's gonna be busy.
See, I'm filming tomorrow.
We'll make it happen.
We'll make
This guy, I saw a picture. Mr. Joe sent me a picture of just the shells he bought. He's going to be give out before he gets to the blind if he carries all them with him.
Man, you never know.
He said he's going to kill birds everywhere. No, we just funny guys. So you, so let's go back to your childhood and how you grew up, because I think we grew up a whole lot alike too.
Yeah, my grandparents. My dad was a fisherman, and Daddy Joe, which that's what we called my grandfather on my dad's side, and that's who I was named after. He fished, but he also coon hunted some. But
I grew up.
Papa Dunn, he's my mother's maiden name was Dunn. His name was Alan Dunn. He's the one that took me and my older brother Kenny. He used to take us rabbit hunting and squirrel hunting, and I got two aunts. So my mom and Papa only had three girls, and my mom, she got her first bicycle by skinning out coon hides.
There you go.
And raised enough money back.
There you
That's awesome.
Back in to buy our first bicycle or whatever. So Papa kept us busy, and that's who really got me into it. And when I started shooting archery tournaments, every Saturday and Sunday, I used to shoot three a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And Papa, if it's on Saturday, he'd be waiting for me to pull in, and then after church, he'd sit on the front porch. I pulled in, and he wanted to see what I did or whatever. He actually made me my first bow.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the time he passed away, he passed away about an hour and 5 minutes before Evan was born. So
Really?
at that time, my son Evan was the only great grandchild he never got to see.
Really?
But Papa was always there for us, you know. So he's the one that really got me into it.
So if anybody paid any kind of attention to the words that just came out of your mouth, there is always that somebody that
Yep.
gets in a child's life.
Yep.
And I say it all the time. Every child is one caring adult away from being a success story.
Yep.
And let me tell you something, the outdoors is a great way. It's a great avenue for making young people and even older people that have not gotten involved in the outdoors a success story. And we've got a little lady over here and a husband over here sitting here watching, Miss Amber Orman and Matt, and that girl's a straight up killer right there, brother.
Right, that's good.
Yeah, they're going to get ready to go in the morning, I believe.
Mhm.
Who's shooting tomorrow? I got to ask. The battle of yes, ma'am. And Miss Amber, look, we love her. She is, and we invited them here tonight. And
She's
tell
been
you
on the show
something.
a couple times.
Yeah, she's one of our women of the outdoors we like to bring on here. She kills some deer, and they have a daughter that loves to hunt, and I got the privilege. That's their daughter that I was telling you about that I carried down there. They trusted me enough to
The
carry her
deer
down
grunt.
there.
Yeah.
The deer-
Yeah, she's the
Yeah.
deer grunt.
Yeah.
The deer grunt was hers.
Well, the reason she's gonna get to hunt first is because when they come in on their Harley, and he ran into a mud puddle.
Did he hit the mud puddle out here? I could look, see that grin he's got right now. That's the exact grin he had before he hit it. So, and look, an hour will get by from us really, really quick.
Yeah.
So and we're going to go back we're going to go back some years again, Mr. Joe, if you don't mind. I knew you from watching the Drury Outdoors.
Mhm.
That's when because I was a huge fan and have been a huge fan since then. How did that happen? How did you go from being an East Tennessee guy that owns a hunting store
Mhm.
to being on TV with Drury Outdoors, being a part of the Dream Season journey and all that?
Well, back in the day, the only way you could watch a hunting program is if you went and rented a VHS tape, or
that's
you
correct.
bought one.
Mhm.
And back in the day, how times has changed, that VHS tape used to cost about $80.
Yes.
So when I first opened the store on October the 1st of '92, I bought a bunch of videos. At that time, it was Dan Fitzgerald, Martin Turry, Will Primos, some of those guys, Roger Ragland, and I would I'd buy those, I'd rent them out until I got my money back, made about 50%.
Mhm.
And then I thought, well, I need to mark these down and let these guys be able to watch them multiple times at home. And then that ensured that I had good quality VHS tapes that wasn't giving people problems. They wasn't getting hung up in the VCR,
Right.
wheels breaking or whatever.
Yeah.
So we were at the ATA show one year, and I ran into Mark, and I stopped, and he's gracious enough to give me some time, and we was just talking, and he said, well, what do you do for a living? And I said, well, I own Joe's Sporting Goods. And he said, where do I know that name from? I know that name from somewhere. And a few minutes later, we were just sitting there talking, and it dawned on him. He said, man, you buy more of our DVDs than anybody. And so we got to talking, and he asked me if I hunted, and I told him, yeah, and he asked me where all, and I told him I hunted about 7 states a year or whatever, and we visited for a while. And he said, you wouldn't by chance be going to the SHOT Show, would you? And I said, yeah, I go there to buy through the store too, you know. And he said, well, why don't we have lunch on Tuesday, and I'll introduce you to Brother Terry. And I said, that'd be good. So I met up with him on Tuesday, and he had asked me to bring some pictures of some of the deer that I'd killed in the last 2 or 3 years. And I did, and I met him. And a few minutes later, here come Terry walking up, and I got to meet Terry. And he said, did you bring any of those photos? And I said, yeah. So we sat down, we ate a quick bite because they were busy beating with sponsors and all that. And back in the day then, at the ATA show and at the NWTF convention, they had a booth selling their products. But back in the day, they had no distribution, and nobody did. So there was a guy, his last name was Skeen, and he had a company called DMI, and he was buying the videos off of them, and then he was trying to disperse them and get them out to people or whatever. And I showed them the pictures anyway, and they looked at each other back and forth, and Terry looked at them or whatever. And Mark asked me the question. He said, have you ever thought about videoing your hunts? And I said, yeah, me and a friend of mine back home, David Calhoun, had talked about it. But we, at that time, David and I started hitting the road about 82 or something. We were in Texas, Montana. Everybody used to tell us we was crazy, but we was killing plenty of good deer back in the day. And him and Terry, Mark and Terry talked there for a few minutes or whatever. And he said, so if we told you what kind of camera equipment to buy and showed you how to run it, would you film your hunts? And I said, sure, if you'll help me do that, I'd be glad to do it, And they looked at each other, and Mark stuck his hand out, and he said, well, would you be interested in doing it for us? And that like to knock me over with a feather, because here I am, renting their videos and watching them at home myself, or whatever. And I thought, man, I'd love to meet them, and here I am talking to them. And anyway, I shook Mark's hand, and he said, well, welcome to Drury Outdoors. And then Terry shook my hand, and then for 21 and a half years, I was there with them until the Dream Season show went away.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's how, and I was blessed, and they're great guys, showed me how to do this. I learned a lot of things from them. They learned some things from me. I'm sure too, because they used to ask me and Scotty, he was my cameraman when we first started. It used to be such a net group. There was like 5 of us. It'd be Mark and Terry, Keith Keene, we call him the Big Sexy. He's Terry's right-hand man on his construction business. And Yapper, Chris, Terry and Yapper's friends ever since they were in school. Mike Jogger's just his name, but we call him Yapper. And every evening we'd all come in, we'd get in Terry's house, and we'd hook up the footage, and we'd all look and compare notes, And And they said, man, how do you kill all these deer in the timber? And I said, well, we live in the mountains. It's the only way we know to hunt them.
They were in the fields.
So they sort of, well, they're the ones that really told me, you know, that's good, and you kill some deer and it's productive and you got it down pat. But what we do is we get in the timber of the morning trying to catch them coming from the food plots or the cornfields, the bean fields, going back to bed, and then we hunt those same fields in the evening. So only thing we know was hunt timber, you know. So I sort of maybe taught them a little bit on how to hunt timber, and they taught me a lot about hunting fields, and it's a great relationship. And
And you still have a relationship.
oh yeah, we talk all the time. We're actually Pam and I are going on a cruise with them in June, on an Alaskan cruise. So, and then back in the day, you know, Mark, Tracy's birthday, which is Mark's wife, at that time I owned a couple of condos in Myrtle Beach, and for Tracy's birthday, we'd always go to the beach together. And Miss Ralph and Miss Lucille and Ralph, that's their mother and father.
That's right.
And they had some condos at the lakes of the Ozarks, and we'd go out and stay with them or whatever. So we're still friends.
Mr. Joe, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Got a question. The guy, Marcus asked, what tips can you give about self-filming for the first time? What can he do to make it work?
Well, the first thing that you're going to need, especially if we're talking turkey, since that's the season you're fixing to be in, you know, you need to get you a good tripod if you're self-filming. Keith, you guys know it as well. They make an adapter. It'll plug into the side of your camera, and it'll mount to your handle of your tripod, where you can start, stop, zoom in, do whatever you need, because you're trying to do that with one hand or whatever. So you want to do that. If you really want a good production hunt, go buy you a GoPro or a Garmin Verb or something like that. They make a little clamp deal. I should have brought it in to show you, but I'd use it on the rod in the corner of the blind. If you're using a GoPro, they have a quick out. You can turn it on, you can turn it off, you can change it to cinematic or standard, which is just zooming in or out or whatever. And then you can start and stop out. If you can't reach up, you can do it on the app of your phone. Then you've got two camera angles running, makes them, you know, a more interesting hunt, gives your editors more to work with or whatever. So that's the three things that you really have to have to get started with. And then if anybody needs one, you know, that's watching the show, you can get a hold of Keith or Mac. And absolutely, I've got a little card here. It's called 10 Points of Production. And be glad we'll make sure anybody and everybody gets it. It's the 10 things that you absolutely have to produce a good hunt. That right there is a big information when you're trying to self-film, especially if nowadays, you know, there's so many people out there in so many ways they can edit their own hunts or whatever, and they can play around with it. Or if they know somebody that can edit well, they can get it edited or whatever. And that means a lot to people. That's like me, you know, I lost Evan when he was 22, and I'm really fortunate. I've got everything he ever filmed or ever killed on video. And a lot of nights when I don't sleep so well, I can.
Go ahead. You're going to get it in a minute. We did this for Miss Pam.
Hey, see? Pam.
Oh my God, I didn't get a finger. I didn't mean to cut you off, Mr. Joe, but I watched my wife, and Miss Pam, can you not tell?
Honey, I'm telling you, he's the man. And the only reason Mac's with us tonight is because Martina's on the road. He needed a little hunting money, so he put her back on the road.
I've been doing laundry all day. She's making me some goodies right there. I told her I needed a snack. Here she comes with them.
Like I said over, honey, I love you. So.
Mr. Joe, I am so sorry. I never. I
know something was going on with Tracy's face, because as soon as she said it, she started to bust in the light. I looked over here and you're looking. I thought, what were they doing?
I was trying my best not to cut you off. I was doing everything I could.
Hey, you see Rascal? He's getting my crumbs.
Well, Miss Pam, there's your proof. Do you need an autograph? Do you want to have dinner with them or anything? We can arrange that.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous.
Let me,
you know, and anyway, if you want to self-film yourself or whatever, you know, one time if I am lucky enough to have some grandkids or not, because Zach and Tyler's my other two sons. I've raised them for over 20 years and love them to death as my own. And Tyler's went hunting with me some, and we've got his first deer kill, and we've got a few kills. Zach, he's never been a hunter, but bless his heart, when Evan got killed, which, you know, it was his brother. And then he told me one time, I'll never will forget it. He told me, he said, I'll go with you if you can't find somebody to go, because he just knew how me and Evan done it or whatever. And then just like Pam, when Pam and I were dating, we did the Dream Season Couples. And how that come about, we were at the SHOT Show, and we were at the Omni in Atlanta, and we were all having dinner, and Mark and Terry, they were talking about this new idea that they had about Dream Season Couples. And, you know, Pam, she was tickled to death to be there and get to meet everybody and whatever, you know, and she didn't have a clue. She'd never been hunting or nothing.
She didn't know what
Never had even shot a gun. And they was talking about it, and all of a sudden we were sitting there at dinner, and she said, well, I'd like to do that. And Mark looks over and said, would you really do it, Pam? And she said, yeah.
That's awesome, though.
And she did it, and bless her heart, she gave it 100%. And for somebody that's not a morning person like she is, she put forth in it. When we were in Wyoming, we were doing spot and stalk antelope hunt. Walked every step, never complained about anything. And that year she actually killed more animals than anybody.
Really?
During the show. And at that time, Mike and Bonnie from Legends of the Fall was doing it. And
I'm trying to remember who I was on.
It was Mike and Bonnie, and it was Jason Edney and his wife. They're from North Carolina. Jason's a friend of mine. Him and his dad, they own a big farming outfit there in Hendersonville, North Carolina. And Mike Fury at the time, and his wife Posada. Mike's a good friend of mine. He owns Dead Ringer. Rick and Julie Kruger, which is Beyond the Hunt. They're still in the industry, have a show on the Outdoor Channel. So there's some pretty big names back in, you know, and Pam killed more.
She put it on.
And there was a couple, Rick, and I can't remember what her name was, but they were from Wisconsin. And back in, the show wasn't based upon what you killed. It was how many people you could get to vote for you.
Right.
So this lady and her mom went to the mall for like 3 or 4 months and got everybody to call in or whatever and vote for them or whatever. So they won it. But we had a big time doing it, and just like coming down here and doing the St. Jude's hunt and coming down here and making new friends and lifelong friends.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, just like me and Mark and Doc met them through the NWTF. Keith Hickman, his wife Natalie. It's just Mr. Tom Rainey. Tom was on the board. That's the reason we were a little late checking in. He had asked Mark and Doc and me to come down and see Tom. I actually was on the phone with Tom today.
Yeah.
And Tom said it the best when we were sitting with him. You know, it's friends that turn into family.
Yes, sir.
And that's just the way it is in this industry, you know. And that's one reason that, like yourself, with the times the way they are now, kids today are exposed to so much stuff that you and I wasn't really exposed to.
Exactly.
So one thing that I've noticed even back when I first started, when me and David first started hunting and running around together, is most of the people in the hunting industry, you know, are good people, and they're all friendly people, and they're willing to help people, whether it's to help them if they're having a hard time or whatever, or if it's just to teach them how to do something or whatever. So if you can keep your kids in the outdoors and they can run around with other kids that have the same interests, a lot less trouble in your life. I mean, Pam and I, we've been fortunate enough to raise 3 boys, and none of them has give us any trouble.
That's right.
So very proud of that, boys, whether I tell you that enough or not, but we're very blessed to have 3 boys that never give us any trouble nowadays. If you have 3 kids, you can just about bank on one of them maybe being into something, but if you keep them outside, they're not going to give you any trouble, you know, because they're running around with same like people.
That's right.
Their parents raised them to have the same values, and everything's good. So that's one of the reasons, just like you and Mac, I mean, that's one of the reasons that any time that I can go do a hunt to help a kid or go help out at the Jake's Day or whatever, man, I'm all in. The only thing I got to do is get a hold of me, and I'll be there if I can at all.
We sure appreciate you. We appreciate y'all coming down. we could sit here and talk this. We could talk hunting all night long, but I promise you, the best people I know grew up the same way that all of us did.
Right.
And the outdoors teaches a lot of life lessons. It teaches you how to fail, how to succeed.
Yep.
How to you have to work for something.
That's right.
It's not just going out there and killing something.
Right.
And of course
That's just the icing on the top.
that's just the icing on the top. And I'm gonna end with one thing. I had and I know you get this from time to time, but I had a person, I've told this one before, I had a person send me a message through Messenger on the Wildlife Addiction page. And, I can't believe you get these kids out here shooting things. I can't believe you teach them how to shoot guns. How dare you? And just let me have it. And said, you remind me of Ted Nugent. I sat up in my chair and I was looking at my phone. I said, that's the best compliment I've ever had. I truly appreciate that.
Yeah.
So Uncle Ted, my wife would give anything to meet Uncle Ted, I believe. She's a big Uncle Ted fan. But we could sit here and talk hunting all night long. Mr. Joe.
We appreciate you inviting us down.
No, thank you, Chase.
Hey, it's been a pleasure
Thank
getting
you,
to know
buddy.
you guys, man.
Oh,
We've had a blast the last couple of weeks.
Hey, it's been real fun. Yeah.
And it's just
Hey, I'd love to see you jollying.
Matt likes me to choke on his cheeseburger about 3 times. But I tried to get Mac to ride back with him.
Yeah.
Other reasons, but
I can't do that to anybody else.
but like I try to end this show, number one, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank y'all once again for coming.
Our
Thanks for
pleasure.
having us, man.
Get your kids outside. I don't care if it's throwing a baseball with them. Get them out of the house. And I know life's busy. We have to work harder than ever.
Yeah.
And to make ends meet. I understand that, but please, for them, take the time, when you can, to spend just a little time with them. And we're all Christians sitting here, and I try to end the show with this very saying all the time. If you're within the sound of my voice, if you can see this or hear me, and the Lord Jesus is not your Savior, I pray that before you go to bed tonight, that your heart will be burdened, and before you can go to sleep, you go to your knees and you ask Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior. And I don't mean for that to sound bad, but that you'll be living then. And we just want to thank the good Lord above for everything that we have, and pray for our country's leaders right now. We need our country's leaders to get back in listening to the word and following the word for some of their decision making, I believe. But anyway, thank y'all from Keith Haywood, Rodney McBride, Mr. Joe, Chase. Thank y'all so much. This means more to me than y'all ever know. And hey, tomorrow's opening day.
Tomorrow's opening day.
And we got to go to bed. We got to get up. It's like Christmas for big people. It's like, it's like Christmas Eve
Best
for me.
way to describe it.
So go ahead, Mac. I'm sorry.
It's been an exciting week.
It has
Like I
been an
said,
exciting
I
week.
feel that bird 500 times a day. I mean, it made my workflow even go
Yeah,
better. Even
yeah.
my supervisor come up or something may be upset or whatever.
That's right.
Hey, I thought about that.
And you told me about that a lot. And also, yeah, Mr. Kevin and Ms. Lori, thank y'all for trusting us to sit.
Him.
Yeah, I know, right? To sit in the blind with this young man and get to be a part of his life, because we fell in love with him.
I'm wondering if he's wanting to go tomorrow.
Well, we were asked what we were doing this week, and yeah.
We hit the ground. Daddy asked, "What are y'all doing next week?"
So look, we've got somebody hooked. We plan on spending some
We're trying
time,
to get back up there before the season ends.
and we're going to get him down here too. We're going to try to get him in deer stand some this year. And-
Even turkey blind.
Yeah,
'Cause I'm telling you guys, them kids will never forget it.
yeah,
They'll be telling their kids who the first person was that went hunting with them,
yes,
and the first time anybody got it on film or whatever. We go down there and we see kids now that has kids of their own back when we took them at St. Jude's. And I mean, they never forget it, man. Never forget it.
It's like this. Keith curled up in the corner on that bucket, right, filming, right? He said, "Oh, my leg. I need to stretch my legs out." I said, "Okay, go ahead." Next thing you know, he stands up and that joker starts twerking in the blind. So I start shimmy shaking, right? And David says,
I bet that kid.
"What in the world are we in the blind with?" I looked at him, I said, "Man, don't go home until your mom gets weird."
But even, you know, growing up hunting my granddad, he kept it fun. We had a good time. And anytime, even with our kids, we tried to cut up with them and I told you a story about Max today. You know, that little corner blind in your ground blind. It's that little bitty window in the corner. It's about that big. Matt, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
ground
I
blind,
sure
that
do.
little, you ever seen a fella that big make it through one? It's happened. It's happened. Head first, like a diving board, he was out of it. But anyway, guys, we know everybody's got right now. They got gobbling on their mind. And if you watch the show tonight, thank y'all. We
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much.
Everybody have a good night. Everybody be safe.
Good luck tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So from all of us here, the whole gang sitting here right now, to all of y'all, thank you very much for tuning in. Y'all have a good night. Let us know when we off, baby.